All right, so welcome to the Well Actually podcast. I have a special guest here in the studio. All right, go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Corey Famiwa, aka Courageous. I am one of the co-hosts of the Smiling Suffer podcast. It's a podcast about everything. It's about culture. It's about life. It's about the news. About everything, pretty much. But it's from our perspective. It's from our own unique perspective as Africans. And I try to give a voice out there for Africans. I don't mean to speak for all Africans, but for my podcast, what we try to do is just speak from our own perspective. We talk a lot about Afrobeats. We're very big on Afrobeats. We talk a lot about just our culture in general, things that we typically won't talk about, or I guess we would say like taboo topics. We always try to go there, because just for like in this day and age where there's so much going on with Australia being in the United States, there's a lot of things changing, trends. I think it's worth addressing some topics.
All right, so I think you started a little bit before I did, and so let me say it off top. I'm a fan of the show.
Yes,
so
thank you.
I listened. I think when I came on your podcast a little bit earlier, I listened to like 21 episodes in in a week. So I definitely appreciate what you guys are doing. And so you also said that you touched on Afrobeat. So I had an episode earlier where I was like, okay, I'm going to get an expert on this topic to come in and give some views, because I still consider myself a bit of an outsider, where I'm just consuming with not a lot of like critical input. But so I'll get your opinion on some stuff later on. But so we're going to get into the news and notes. And
all right.
So the past week, I don't want to say the world has gone to shit, but things have gone a bit upside down.
It feels like it has.
Yeah. So there's a rapper. I'm sure a lot of you know him. He's not a businessman. He's a businessman. And so Hove getting in bed with the NFL.
Yes, he did.
And
he went there.
So what is your take on the whole thing? Because I'm not going to go as far as saying sellout yet.
Yes.
But it feels like dangerously close to that territory right now.
Okay, my take on the whole thing is it's a little bit different from the general take. I know the general take is it's almost like people are inclined to say like he's throwing Colin Kaepernick under the bus. When that story first broke, the first thing I said was like, it came across as hypocritical, because Jay-Z was on this whole woke wave, like basically in support of Colin Kaepernick's decision to protest on NFL. In fact, he even had his jersey at his concerts.
Right.
Like he was really supporting Colin Kaepernick. And out of the blue, he comes up with a multi-million-dollar deal. He's getting to pick all the Super Bowl acts now. Like, it's a really significant deal. And the way it comes across is almost like, it comes across snaky, like almost like he used this whole issue. I mean, he told Travis Scott not to perform.
Right.
And even then it was a little weird, because his wife's artist, Chloe, and the other girl, they performed. So it was weird then, but I figured, okay, that's his wife, that's not necessarily him, and maybe he's just doing his thing. And like, he's always been on this. It's almost like he was on this moral, whatever you want to call it. Now, for whatever reason, right? My own take on the Colin Kaepernick situation was it's always been the same from the get go.
And what was
initially when it came out, I was like, hell yeah, right? He should be able to protest. That's what the troops died for, so that we can actually do these things and protest. And that was initially when it came out. Because initially when it came out, there was this instant reaction, like, what? And I felt like I was one of the first people that I knew in my circle that I was like, nah, like, he definitely should be able to do this, and he should be able to take a knee. and it really shouldn't be that big a deal. And he's just speaking his mind, and if he wants to sit down, let him sit down. Like, why do we all have to show? Like, there are different ways of showing solidarity to your nation. But I think the bigger point for me was he did it because he said he wanted to bring attention, and I like that. I like the fact that he wanted to bring attention. Now, at some point, like I think after like a year, I kind of hopped off the Colin Kaepernick train, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I felt like at that point there was already attention. I really felt like there was enough attention. One, number two, I just felt like even if he wanted to keep, there was nothing wrong with him protesting, but it was this whole idea of him. I felt like he was conflicting his inability to go to play on the team with his protest. And yes, you might say that there might have been some overlap there where, okay, some teams probably didn't want that drama. But when you look at the stats and when you look at the data, when you look at his performance stats, he was the 32nd best NFL. It was the 32nd best NFL QB at that time. At the time he left the NFL. This was a fact. It wasn't like he was at the top of his game. He had moved teams several times. So this idea where I felt like it was almost like a cop out at some point. Like I felt like it started being about him not being able to get a job, and people started making this assumption that, oh yeah, the only reason why is because he's protesting. And the way I saw it was, if he really was that good, right? If he really, really was that good, and you know the NFL, it's not like quarterbacks are that easy to come by. When they find a quarterback, they want to hold on to that guy for as long as possible.
Right, so let me push back on that a bit, because I know you said he was the 32nd best QB.
Yeah.
But that was him coming off of an injury, first of all, that season.
Yeah.
When he was coming off an injury.
Yeah.
And I think there was one significantly bad game that stood out, which was basically in a blizzard.
Yeah.
Which sort of tanked some of his stats for that year.
Okay, fair.
And some of the QBs that were signed immediately after that.
Yeah.
One of them, including Josh Johnson, who was literally at home for 5 years, who had not attempted an NFL pass for 5 years.
Yeah.
So there were coaches, there were analysts, there were experts that were saying Kaepernick wasn't getting a job because he couldn't pick up a certain offense.
Okay.
Meanwhile, someone who had not attempted an NFL pass in 5 years
was able to get it.
Was able to come in.
Yes. Which, I acknowledge, I'm sure that to an extent there must have also been that whole, maybe they just didn't want that drama.
Right.
But then you also have to look at it from a business perspective too. So you have the performance perspective, okay? I'll give you that. Maybe it wasn't really as bad as they made him out to be. But there's also that business perspective too, where NFL teams have fans, and their fans want to enjoy the game. And now, you can say it was for the wrong reasons. They're doing it for the money, but maybe it's also possible that they just don't want. Because if you look at Eric Reed, he always had a team, and he knelt down with him too.
No, but see, that's
what Eric Reed is a good ass player.
But then Eric Reed was unemployed for a while too, because remember, he was under contract while he was kneeling. Once his contract ran out, he didn't have a team either until the Panthers picked him up.
Yeah,
but it was into the middle of the season before they picked him up.
Yeah,
they picked him up because the Atlanta Falcons had 3 safeties go down in the first 4 weeks of the same season. So they essentially picked him up to block the Atlanta Falcons from picking him up.
Okay.
That's why Eric Reed was also part of the collusion suit that Colin Kaepernick had, which the NFL settled.
Yes.
And
we'll get to that. But let's get back to this thing. But you can understand even NFL. And I know it seems like I'm making excuses for these teams, but I don't want everything to always just come down to it's only because of. Sometimes it's a multiple. It's multiple reasons for why certain things happen, and sometimes it's just it might just happen to be
it doesn't have to be either or.
It doesn't have to be either. It can be and. It can be and. It can be a combination of different things.
Right.
And sometimes it's just a perfect storm, and it's just like, ooh, that guy is too controversial right now. Now, let me give you the business aspect of it too.
Okay.
As an NFL team, if I know that my fans a lot of them are die-hard NFL fans who don't necessarily like the idea of kneeling down for the anthem.
Okay, wait.
I can decide to make a business decision and say, you know what, I don't want to bring that drama.
So let me pause there.
Yeah.
So you're saying that there are discerning NFL fans who don't want drama being brought into their huddle, even though these are the same fans who would be okay with people who have not only allegations but convictions in terms of domestic violence.
Yeah.
And that is seen as something like, you know what, we can abide that. We're okay with it, bringing that. I feel like that's more of a distraction because, you know, that's actual criminality.
Yeah, but that's criminality off of the field, and that's not necessarily something. It's not like they're doing. And I'm not trying to weigh the two. I'm not trying to say kneeling is as bad as beating your wife. No, but you get what I'm saying. As far as the game goes, as far as watching the game goes, it's not like they're there beating their wife in. Like at the game,
I know.
There's a distinction.
There's a distinction, but I feel like woman beating is something where you can get almost universal agreement that this is bad.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, with the kneeling,
you
cannot get universal agreement that is something you can't.
You can't. No,
because there are not only are there members of the military who are okay with it, but your fans. It's almost like you're weighing some fans more than others.
Yeah.
And
you'll admit that you will in certain markets you're gonna have more of those fans that are more into the whole sanctity of the anthem and all that in certain markets.
But
I mean that's
but
just
then
the
you
reality.
also know that the whole thing about the playing of the anthem in the first place was done as a marketing ploy by the military after 9/11.
It was.
So it's like even up till like 20 years ago, the anthem wasn't even played on the field.
Yeah,
talk less of even televised.
It wasn't. Yeah, I remember it started after that.
So it's like this thing where everyone's suddenly like, we've always stood for the anthem. Like no, we haven't.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, it's like
you're right. No, they haven't.
But it's like, first of all, why is the anthem even being played? Like, you don't go to a movie and not at the opera.
I don't get it either. But from what I understood is that they had some kind of deal with the army, and like I said, just like you said, it was supposed to be like some kind of propaganda thing where to attract more people into trying to.
You know, the military was paying the NFL, right?
Yes, they were.
And when that finally came out, the NFL was guilted into giving the money back. So it's like, is that really patriotism if it's for hire?
I know it's kind of commercialized.
Yeah.
And,
so it's like, is that outrage? Is that outrage even real?
But you see, now you're getting into the weeds. Now when you get, and this is what happens when you get into the weeds and you start peeling back all these things, then you start to see. But you see, this is not all this stuff is not people that people are necessarily engaged with. And they're not getting into the weeds. They're just saying, look, this is my anthem. This is the U.S. anthem. And everyone should be standing up, and everyone should have their hands up there and not be kneeling. And like I said, some teams will make a business decision, right, and decide maybe we don't want that. Now, and we disagree on that. It's not like we disagree. The way I see it is, I just see it as, I don't think it's necessarily. I don't think when you factor in the fact that he didn't have the best record at the time. When you factor in the fact that he had some really bad games. I mean, some really, really bad games where he flopped. Because I watched the NFL, you watched the NFL. When you also factor in the fact that, you know, like the whole drama around the people being mad at all these different things led to him not getting the team. And like I said, there's multiple factors. Now, you feel like, no, it's for that sole reason. And I think that's where we disagree. You feel like, no, it's the sole reason why that didn't happen was because he took a knee. When we know that Eric Reed, even though he might not have gotten the job initially, he eventually got a job. So at least this, and even after he got the job, he was still taking the knee. You see what I'm saying here? So that's why I feel like when we conflict everything to just it's because of the knee, then I feel like that's when it's very, very easy to pick that argument apart because you can get in the weeds. Now we finished that, right? So we know where we disagree on that part. The next part now is after a year, like I said, I felt like, okay, that whole boycott NFL thing, because in my mind I'm like, this is a game that I enjoy, and it was getting politicized, and it was, you know, we're dragging our political issues in Congress and Senate, in our culture, and we're bringing it into this thing into this game that we all enjoy, that we usually try to just keep politics out of. And for me, it was like a downer. Now, Jay-Z hopped on that train, and then he came out of this, and he said, look, and he said the same thing I just said. He was like, we've already brought attention to it. What's the next step?
What he said is we're done kneeling. We're off that.
Yeah.
First of all, he wasn't kneeling anywhere.
No, it wasn't.
This one that he's including himself amongst the hurt party, where it's like, oh yeah, okay, we're done sacrificing now. So it was, I believe it was with actionable steps or something like that.
Yeah.
And we're moving forward.
Yeah.
So that is sort of like he's trying to get credit for the protests while also benefiting.
He's trying to have it both ways.
Yeah.
He's trying to have it both ways. And that I disagree with. But to say he's a sellout implies that he only did it for the sake of getting a deal out of it.
Do we have anything to the contrary? Like, do we have anything to believe to the contrary?
Then, but I mean, he has the potential to be one of the first black owners of an NFL team. I think that's a huge step.
No, we're not going to give him credit for that, because look, he wouldn't. Okay, let me put it this way: do you think he would have gotten this opportunity if it wasn't for the Kaepernick protest?
Probably not.
So it is literally as a direct response to, okay, hey, I'm causing a scene over here, and he's like, hey, you know what? I can get these niggas to calm down. Just holler at me. I can get them in order.
Okay, but how about the whole social justice thing that they're doing around it?
So that whole thing of social justice, what exactly does that mean? I'm gonna throw a few concerts and then niggas gonna turn up and then that's it? Because look at it now. We're talking about Jay-Z now.
Yeah.
Everybody has taken the NFL and Roger Goodell off the hook.
Yeah.
When all the beef that we had with them now before, Roger Goodell used to be the meat shield of the NFL owners and everything, where he used to take all the blues.
Yeah.
Now we've even shifted our attention, even on this podcast, to Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, yeah.
And it's like, okay, but the whole thing was him trying to use the NFL, the might of the NFL.
So again, I'll ask you, so what do you think the end game should have been?
All right, so I will answer that in form of a question. Every time that you notice that the NFL players, but you notice that the NFL there's a week where they all wear pink. Yeah. For breast cancer awareness. Okay. That is nothing on the field. Yeah. Yet they go out of their way to do it because
breast cancer is not something that's still being debated. It's a matter of fact. We know breast cancer is like a serious thing.
But is that something like, what if I say, okay, I just want to see my team. I just want to see my team.
But you see that?
Because it's also a social issue. It is a social issue because it's something where they feel they recognize the might of the NFL as a brand.
But in the case of police brutality, not everyone is necessarily on board.
That's the thing though.
It's a divisive issue. You know this,
and it's only divisive because
it's like trying to get the NFL to take a stance.
That's the thing.
But
so
your fans do not agree that it's a police brutality problem.
But that is what
I'm
getting at.
Yeah.
So the thing, first of all those pink things, they're sold by the NFL. Yeah. So it's not just a charitable thing; they are sold by the NFL. Yeah. When they say percentages of the proceeds, that's after they've paid, after the NFL has gotten their own, and this percentage of the profit. So that is the NFL. One, acknowledging that, okay, we have this might and this ability and this reach so to do something about it. So when they now say there's nothing we can do about social justice or social justice reform, that is already a bold-faced lie because they are literally holding things in your face that show otherwise. When they're telling you that,
and I respect your opinion, but what you have to understand is that not everyone is of that opinion. It's still a very
and that is one of the things that separates powerful corporations from one man. One man, he can be shouted down. A corporation, like if anybody was going to turn away because of the anthem protest, we would have seen it. No one did. Yeah. The viewership never changed. So it's like, so if they're saying, oh, they're gonna alienate their fans, is that telling you that, okay, we're thinking that, okay, you people aren't mature enough to understand a simple debate of, we believe, and this, what you're saying is, cancer is a known fact. It is also a known fact that black people and people of color are literally, this is a study that was done over the last 5 years, are 2.5 times more likely to be killed by police.
Yes.
2.5 times.
But then look, if you want to start pulling out stats, we can.
Yes.
You also know that, and I'm not saying black people are this or that, but there are certain groups that are more likely to commit certain violent crimes. That's also a fact. It is.
So
it is. No,
so
are you? Would you agree to that?
No, because
you don't think so. But there is data
and I can pull up literally an FBI crime analysis that shows the biggest indicator of violent crime is not race, it is class. So poor people but poor people across the board are more likely to perform these crimes, not black people.
Yeah.
Because, and then another fallacy is black on black crime, which is also a crock because intra-race violence is the same across the board.
But let me ask you something. Who do you think commits about half of the crimes? About half of the murders?
White people still. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why, because you're looking at me funny. The reason why I say that, first of all, because they make up the literal majority.
Yes.
So by the numbers, first of all, there are going to be more white people killed.
Yeah.
And because more people are killed by their own race, there are going to be more white killers.
But let me ask you something. What's the percentage of blacks in this country? Black men.
Black men?
Yeah.
I know black people in general about 12 to 13%.
13. Black men is, let's say, about 7.
Yeah.
But the murders are, black men are committing about a little under 50% of the murders.
That's not true.
Look it up. Look it up. It's the same FBI data that you look at. It's there.
40% of murders.
A little over 40%, yes. Sorry, of the violent crimes. Because
I honestly do not believe that.
Look it up. Look it up. So, but if we assume it's true, you can, and I'm not saying it justifies a white cop or any cop discriminating against a black man. And I'll give you one example, for instance, right? In New York, remember the frisk laws?
Stop and frisk
laws. They targeted black men for that. Now, a big part of that was the data that they were looking at was showing that was who they needed to target, but it didn't justify it because it never. I don't care if it's 99% of people doing these things. It doesn't justify profiling anyone, because that was what stop and frisk was. It was profiling people.
But see, we've gotten like really off track. And then again, this is what I was trying to say initially about what the NFL is doing with Jay-Z. Where now they've put him everyone is now upset with Jay-Z, not with the NFL. Again, Colin Kaepernick still doesn't have a job. Yeah. Another thing that I'm saying where is like
32 now, I mean.
Yeah, and Tom Brady's 41. But we're not even going to get into that. One thing that makes people feel like this was a bit of a sellout thing was, this deal was offered to Jermaine Dupri.
It was.
And Jay-Z told him not to take it.
Word.
Yes.
And this is a fact.
Yes. It's in print.
That's fucked up. That's savage.
And the thing is, this thing wasn't even just done. It was already put in the works before.
Oh wow.
But the announcement now came out when this Free Meat documentary on Amazon. So they now wanted to do it at the same time because they thought you would post off of it and like, oh, see, hey man, I got your criminal justice right here, so you guys shouldn't be upset with me here.
So it was all strategic.
Yes.
Damn.
So now,
Goodell is one fucking shiesty ass dude.
But that's the thing. They want
He's calculated.
I don't believe it's Goodell that's doing this. I believe it's strategic on Jay-Z's part.
You think so?
Yes, because he's like. Because remember, Jay-Z was already making all this noise before. Oh, don't do this. Because he didn't want them to perform so that he didn't want them so that once the black people come in, like, hey, I'm the one that brought you. But remember, he never said anything to Big Boy.
No, he didn't.
Won't be that we're gonna tell Big Boy not to perform.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. He knew what he was doing, and like if he had just said, all right, if he had just said, hey, this is a business thing, and now they're saying he has the inside track to become like a part owner, and like, bro, you were just railing against this establishment. Is another thing when you were saying, okay, what about black cops? They're just as likely to shoot. See, now he's going to be on the inside. And he's saying we're off that with Colin Kaepernick. So this is saying Colin Kaepernick is an afterthought. You think he's going to be one of the people to come and sign Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah, but then I feel like the end goal that you want, you're trying to push a huge rock up a huge hill, huge. Like if you really think NFL can, especially for a debate that has been raging for so many years, if you think NFL can be the one to make the difference and push things over the scale, I just feel like it's a bit idealistic.
Okay, so do you think Colin Kaepernick wanted the NFL to end police violence?
But that's why he was protesting.
No, he was he was protesting the NFL game because that's where he had the most visibility.
Yeah.
If he's kneeling at his house, nobody's either A, going to see him or B, going to care. Yeah. If he's kneeling at the supermarket, nobody's going to see. So the place where he feels he has the most, the same reason why when people protest, they go and block highways. Yeah. Because that's where they'll have the most impact. Yeah. It's not because they don't like cars. Yes. It's because that's where they have the most impact. That's what he was doing as well. The place where he has the most visibility. So he's not holding up the game. He's literally not affecting anyone's enjoyment of the game.
Really not. And they not put the cameras on him.
Again. And plus, like, you cannot even say he's obstructing someone's view because he's literally getting lowered. So it's like for you to get offended, you have to go out of your way to be offended by that.
So let me ask you something. So are you gonna boycott Jay-Z?
What? I don't have strong feelings on Jay-Z either way. I just know what he did was phony. One, two, it was opportunistic, and three, it's pretty devious, because he literally would not have this opportunity without the protest, and then to now say we're off that. You weren't on that because you never gave up anything.
It was definitely savage.
And then when you now see what they're saying about with Jermaine Dupri, like. This is where you actively blocked someone else from this blessing.
That's crazy.
Think about that.
It's a capitalist society.
So okay, and then that is the segue I was aiming for about 45 minutes ago. But like so in terms of how he has gotten to where he is along the way.
$1 billion.
Do you think there is any moral way to make $1 billion?
You know, I've thought about this, right? I feel like anyone that's a billionaire, unless you inherited it, you must have done some really fucked up shit. Like, you must have really, like...
You must have screwed a bunch of people over along the way.
A bunch of people. Even like Jeff Bezos, as nice as he is, you can just tell that guy is a savage.
Absolutely. With that buzz cut,
you can just tell he's a savage.
With what he did when they were trying to blackmail him, and it was like, yeah, go ahead. You could already tell with Bezos. So, like, even the Waltons, the area to the Walmart.
Walmart, yeah.
You know, they literally make over $100 million a day.
Wow.
Literally over $100 million a day.
There's no way you can. Yeah, there's no way to get $1 billion. There's no way you're not a little bit narcissistic and in your pursuit of greatness. Like, there's no way you're not like a little bit crazy. Actually, you know what I'm saying? Because I think about it. At some point, if I had that much money, I wouldn't even know what to do with it. It's like, what am I going to do?
Because it stops being about the numbers. It just becomes about the power.
It's like a power trip, like an ego trip.
So the thing now, how do you feel he's going to be seen now? Yeah. Because before it was always every story you heard about him was paying lawyer fees for so and so, doing this. So do you think this? How much of an impact is this going to have on his reputation? That's what we're looking for now.
In the rap game, not much. In the rap game, he's going to be seen as he's a hustler, ultimately. You know, there's a reason why rappers love Donald Trump too. At one point, it was that savage, that whole greed kind of thing. But then that
was as a business. That was as a businessman. Yeah, you don't want that in terms of the leader of your country.
No, you don't. Yeah. And then with social justice, it's complicated now because now hip hop is really like the culture is has fully embraced.
It's getting a conscience.
Yes, it's getting a conscience. That's the way to put it. How it's gonna affect his legacy? From a music standpoint, he's great. You can't really touch.
But then the things he's doing has been doing recently.
As a person,
has been more about him personally instead of like.
As a person, here's the way I need to interpret it. and I'm a little bit biased because I'm a big old fan.
Mm-hmm.
The way I interpret it is, again, the same way you have these white billionaires that made it to that point. I'm proud that even though he might have stepped a lot of toes, but a black guy was savage enough to go to make it out of hip hop from the streets of Marcy and become a billionaire. To me, it's aspirational. I try to not take it too personal. I look at it, and yes, I get it that he is savage, but you have to look at it, man. Like, for someone from the hood, like, that's someone that was in those same projects, and you're seeing him on the cover of Forbes. You're seeing him sitting down with people. Again, I get it that yes, it's a little bit like a house.
But then but then the thing is, when you start taking a closer look, even when it becomes like part of his musical biography, where it's like there's certain things where it's like they're like where you're talking about losing the 92 bricks or whatever, selling crack to his family members, doing Dame dirty, like, so you're seeing like a bit of a pattern where it's like he might not even though he's getting out the dirt or whatever, he has been showing pattern of unscrupulous things now.
When you bring that up, because some people argue that he first of all he made a fortune off of selling crack to people in his neighborhood that probably died as a result.
Family members, not just neighborhood. Yes, family members.
I can see how that's controversial. And then
even people that he went into business with,
I know,
screwing them over. And then even this most recent, like, let's say we're just talking about the whole title thing, where it's like, okay, he bought in at a valuation of 200 million and now it's worth 600 million or whatever. And then okay, let's say black people were like, okay, if you get over on a white person, everybody's like, hey man, it's leveling the playing field. But look at him stepping on other black toes. Yeah, like, so that is where now the phrase of selling out comes. Not because he's selling out himself. He's literally selling out other people.
You thought this through. So I thought about this topic, but I was really more on the Kaepernick thing. I didn't really think about this.
But I didn't even think about that until I saw the article about him advising Jermaine Dupri not to take this same agreement.
That is savage.
Because I'm sure they brought this thing to Jermaine Dupri before the ATL Super Bowl. I'm assuming.
That is savage.
And he told him not to take it. So imagine, he's like telling Travis not to perform. Telling Jay. So it means he wanted to be the person to come in like, hey yo, I fixed it for everybody. What you see? So when you start looking like,
so you think this might be a big stain on his legacy?
I mean, again, it's this confirmation bias for people. It's like you already see Jay-Z like this, so you're just going to work backwards and whatever mental gymnastics you got to make.
We all find ways to rationalize.
Yes, you're going to rationalize it however you want to. And I
think that's a very good question, because when you really look at it and really dig into it, I mean, he was savage most of his career, like just the way he came up.
Yeah. So and then
he snaked a bunch of people.
But then if
he threw,
and you notice, and then you notice how all those things we've used whiteout on all those things on his biography, where we just skip from rapper to Rockefeller to Rock Nation, and then we just go title and
he's had a checkered past too.
Yes.
With women.
See. So it's like, but you know, people. It's like,
you should go to something. You should go to like, it's not like he's still. You should go to accept. You should go to like grow from some things.
But not if he's still using. But then he's also using that as his street cred also. Because he has dada now and tying bandana around his head, wearing button-up shirts. It's like if he's still proving to be the same person.
There is something hypocritical about it. I have to admit. There's something when you look at the whole thing holistically, and that's why I was pissed off because I was like, brother, he just stopped to his gun. You should have never taken a side, or even if you're going to take a side initially, let's say he took a side against Colin, and stuck to it. I'll respect him more.
But instead of this flip-flopping thing, where it's not like you've gone from Colin's side to his opponent.
There's something weird about it.
And still, Colin doesn't have a job.
There's something weird about
because
it. Because Colin got paid.
So that's the thing. So when the NFL,
he got settled.
Yeah.
And I heard it was rumored to be in the tens of millions.
but then.
So he probably got paid more than what he would have gotten paid if he was the 32nd best.
But we cannot say that, because when they say tens of millions, it can literally mean 11 million.
It could.
It can literally mean 11 million.
It could be 90 million too.
But then, so the thing is,
but he also and he got paid from Nike too. It's not like
but that's not the thing, because he.
Colin got a Nike deal without playing a snap of football.
What Nike's saying is he has always been with them.
Yeah.
But then
now he's getting a big.
No, but then what you're saying is he's gotten this off of Nike without playing, but he's also more famous now than when he was playing.
Yes.
So it's not like Nike's getting a deal.
But he's more famous because of that protest.
Yes.
So you can't Colin has done something out of this.
Yes, but this is what if he says what he really wants is to play, because this is what he has been working for all his life. You're forgetting that this is what he has probably.
He doesn't even want to play this game
because
it's a deadly game. He's probably saved himself CTE.
Corey, there's almost 8 billion people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me he's one of the 32 best at it?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he want to do it? One of the 32 best.
Game, though.
Corey, this is not even the top 1% of the 1%. This is the top 32 out of 8 billion. Like, look, but look at the people that are getting jobs now.
Played in America, so
yes,
it's not like
exactly. So the best who are playing it, you agree, are here.
Yeah.
It's not like basketball where there's some people
Yeah.
in Spain or Greece or whatever that might be better.
Yeah.
The best people playing it are playing it here. So because you look at what people are getting. Look at what Kirk Cousins is getting, 90 million guaranteed.
And I heard he just got injured again or something. Yeah.
And you don't think Kirk Cousins is about the same age or older than Cap.
No,
Yes, now Kirk Cousins is in his 30s. Yeah, early 30s.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he was drafted the same year as Andrew Luck and RG3. Remember, he was the same.
Yeah,
he was in the same class.
Same class
as RG3. He was drafted in the 3rd or 4th round of that same draft.
Colin Kaepernick?
No, I mean Kirk Cousins and
yeah,
RG3.
but Colin Kaepernick was before that.
Yeah, probably
Colin
a year or two before that. But Kirk Cousins was also a senior at Michigan State.
Matt Stafford's. I think it was Matt Stafford's class. I think.
I'm talking about Kirk Cousins. He was also a senior, like the year RG3 and these guys and Andrew Luck were drafted.
Okay,
they were juniors, so he was already older. Yeah. Well, so what I'm saying is, sure, he might be getting a bag off of Nike and more popular, because Nike also gets to use his image in their ads.
Yeah.
So that means nobody else can except Nike. So they're also paying for that exclusivity.
But
then Nike also gets to use him as a shield for their we're also woke and we're also into this social justice thing.
And they pour millions into campaigns
and then
that have nothing to do with social justice.
Exactly. So you see,
all hypocrites,
so you
man.
See, everybody is profiting off of him.
They are. He's still getting the bag though.
But it's not similar to.
So imagine if you decided that, you know what, you go to work and you're like, you know what, these people, they're not paying me enough. I want the whole world to boycott this company on behalf of me. That's what it's like now.
And then
different people have different interests in sports, in NFL.
This is where we're disagreeing. He was not telling people to boycott the NFL.
But that was what his movement was leading to. The people that supported
the people who
they were inspired those people. So you can't separate him from that.
He was removed from the NFL. That's why people were saying the whole thing that was extending the controversy was him not getting a job. If he came in and got a job and they evaluated him and said he wasn't good enough, everybody would. But they kept him out, so they martyred him. Not the other way around. He wasn't trying to tell everyone, leave the NFL alone. Let's go. They don't believe in this. He's like, I'm using my platform as an NFL player. The only reason why you're listening to me is because I'm an NFL player. Even the week someone actually pointed it out was week 3 of the preseason. He was just getting dressed, and someone just asked him like, we saw you sitting, and then last week we saw you sitting, but this week you knelt. And he was like, oh yeah, I spoke to so-and-so, and I just want to talk about police brutality, blah, blah, blah. And that was it. He didn't say, I want the NFL. I'm just bringing attention to it.
And
Simple. And he brought the attention, and then the NFL was like, okay. And then this is also what I bring back to. The NFL would not have settled on the collusion thing if there was no, because they were talking about they had deposed NFL owners.
Yeah.
They had deposed them, and if they didn't settle, what was in that deposition would have come out.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted that.
Exactly. So whatever the settlement came out to, split among 32 teams, probably came out to less than $1 million. And like, yes, okay, we'll pay that.
I think you got paid less than $1 million.
No, from each team. I mean, from each like 32 teams.
Less than $1 million.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, as opposed to what we said coming out in the open. So like, yeah. So once you can already put it in that regard, where it's like, okay, they agreed that we're okay, and you can even say, okay, it's not a guilty plea, but it's like there was more smoke there than not.
Yeah, there was smoke.
Yeah.
But no one really knows.
Yeah, but no, exactly. But then the NFL also didn't want anyone to know, which is why they settled. But anyway, I think one out of everything we said, one thing we can agree on is that Hove is not coming out of this unscathed, and we gotta flash a bigger light on whatever Jay-Z got going on.
Yeah, this is the way you went about this was iffy. Really
Iffy at best.
When you think about it in the grand scheme of things, it was weird. And it's like, were you only just pandering at the time? It's like
so now you're starting to doubt his sincerity about a whole bunch of things, because like okay, all these things that were you just like leading up to this where you're like, hey, I helped you guys out, now you guys.
But then some people argue that maybe you're being a purist. I'm just saying.
No.
Some people argue that you should be allowed to, I guess, support social justice reform while still being able to make a significant leap, like being on track to become an NFL owner as a black man.
So you're saying he should be able to seek this reform and still profiting? Like he should be able.
Because the NFL is not the one that's causing the police.
Yeah. So but then
now, you know what I'm saying?
But then why is
it's not like they're the
no? But then why isn't Colin Kaepernick able to have the same?
You really want Colin Kaepernick to?
No, because I'm like no, because I'm like
that guy.
Because,
he proved me. He destroyed all of my fantasy.
But that's the thing. Like everybody, literally everybody else gets to chase social reform and continue to even go to higher heights. Like Jay-Z, for instance. NFL is making more money than they've ever made.
Yeah, and Colin Kaepernick gets to make his Nike money.
No, but that's the
He
thing.
gets to be in ads.
We've seen him in one ad, and that was the Just Do It campaign. We haven't seen him in anything else.
Multi-million-dollar ad.
Yeah, but the year before that, he also made $16 million in the NFL.
16 million in the NFL.
Yes.
I think he's probably he definitely be more than that.
Absolutely. There's not like if you're not an NBA player where they can see your face the entire game, like he's not giving you no damn 16 million.
We don't know how much. We don't know exactly how much. I'm sure it was tens of millions. Don't add that settlement. I mean,
but that's the
so
thing.
you shouldn't be feeling sorry for this guy. This guy is still a millionaire.
No, why not? But then look at it this way, Corey.
Yeah.
You're saying, oh, if I go to my job and say I'm not working, I'm not the top 32 in literally anything.
There are
so
people
I'm not
that in the NFL today, and they still haven't made anywhere as much as he's made.
Right.
Anywhere as much.
And so they're already looking at, because now do you know what the NFL is going to use this as a template of? Like, hey, he was the top 32 at the most valuable position in the NFL, and he's gone. You don't think that's going to scare everybody else to get in line?
Because they gotta run a business.
Right. So it's like they're stifling everybody else's voice. Meanwhile, Jay-Z gets to ride in on his white horse and like, hey, we off that now. All right, I'm fixing everything for everybody.
Oh,
like
damn.
So,
I don't know, man. Oh, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I need to. I'm glad you brought it, because now I'm thinking about it, and the more I think about it, the more it just. It's not. It doesn't rub me the right way. Right. I'd rather you just be consistent in your support of whatever it is, and not like bounce back and forth. But then I can also see the argument of people making, where they say, well, the NFL really, they're not the ones causing the injustice. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. We can move on. We can move on.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break here, and then we'll be right back. All right, so we're back here with Corey, the host of the Smile and Suffer podcast.
Yes, sir.
All right, so now we wanted to switch to, well, I was gonna say something less depressing, but no, not really.
It's just as depressing, if not worse.
Yeah, so it's the whole Jeffrey Epstein
situation.
Yeah, I didn't want to call it controversy. It's just well. So just give me a rundown on.
So a rundown of what happened was it was really like I'll take it back a couple of years ago. He got caught, right? I want to say he got someone snitched on him, one of his victims, and it turned out that this guy had been getting girls. Like he had someone that would go out and recruit young girls, underage girls, and he would have sex with them. He would, of course, he would give them money too, but then he would also pass them around his friends.
Okay.
And a lot of them were very, very powerful friends. In fact, one of the friends allegedly was Prince Andrew, who is Queen Elizabeth's, I think, second son. Jeez. Younger than Prince Charles.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a pretty big deal. And he got caught years ago, right? And they had a girl that was a bunch of girls that were willing to testify against him. And some of the things that they testified against him for stuff like he would fly them. He had this private jet, and they called it the Lolita Express, and it was pretty much young girls flying, influential people, powerful people on the jet, and fly them to this private island that he had. And it's private island, so it's almost like it's your rules, whatever. And apparently, he would just have girls there, and people just like statutory raping girls all over the place. Young underage girls. And this is what happened for many years. Again, like I said, someone snitched on him. They really testified against him. He got caught. The Florida attorney was supposed to put him behind bars. Instead, he worked out some kind of Weasley deal where he pretty much got to. And this is what happens with the powerful man. Like, it's crazy when you have so much money. And again, part of it is also the influence and the power and the money and the lawyers.
It goes back to our previous conversation.
Yes. But pretty much he was able to set up some kind of deal where he didn't even have to. I think he didn't even have to spend. I think he only had to spend like the night in jail, and he could always leave or something. Like it was. I don't remember the exact details, but he was virtually a free man, and supposedly, serving a sentence, but not really. And I think at some point he got on probation. I think he was on probation, and so he was out of jail, and he's been out of jail all this while until someone decided to revisit it. I think what happened was the details of the case somehow got exposed, and William Barr, Attorney General of the United States, decided that this is something that we have to look into. That was part of why the attorney in Florida at the time, who was Trump's, I think, was it Labor Secretary? It was one of his. It was on his cabinet. He had to step down because of that. Because of that case. Because of how much he fumbled it. Like, it was that bad. Like, it was an embarrassment. Like, what kind of judgment do you have? He had to step down. So now, William Barr was trying to bring this case back up, and this time they actually brought it to New York because they found more people, more girls that had been involved, more people that were willing to testify, and this time they were going to try it in New York. And that was the plan. And of course, at this point, media coverage, so there's no way he's getting away with this shit. He's in jail, and at some point they said he tried to commit suicide. There was an attempt. They put him on suicide watch. And usually they're supposed to put people on suicide watch for at least a month. Instead, they kept him on suicide watch for a few days, about a week. And they took him off, which doesn't make no sense.
So already, like, things are already
It doesn't make no sense.
All right.
And he wound up, again, committing suicide this time. Yes, you did mention that there were bones broken, which is the likelihood of that happening is very low. However, for older people,
it's a possibility.
It's a possibility. It's very so. Again, that's another one of those theories out there. But you can see a possibility where his bones did break and he really did commit suicide. That's the one thing. Second thing is, again, the question is why was he taken on suicide watch? And even after he was taken on suicide watch, how come there was no one like guarding? Because usually when you're suicide watch, you have someone else come in, like another guard. Oh, sorry, not another guard, another inmate. And they pretty much pay the inmate. You know, inmates, they make money. That's another way to make money in jail. And the inmate's only job is to just make sure that you don't kill yourself, and make sure they take everything that can, like any kind of clothing that can be used as a, none of that is around you. So of course, but when they take you on suicide watch, all that's gone. That means you don't have an inmate, you don't have anyone watching over you, and everything's back to normal. And this was after a week. For someone this high profile, it makes no sense. They found out some other details. They said the fact that basically they had rotated guards, and the guards that they rotated in the time he died were new guards. So that in itself is already
that's already another red flag.
Big red flag. Yeah, so I mean those are the details. Those are like this. I mean we can kind of flesh out, but yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Some of the people that they said had flown his private jet at the time, back then, I think Trump, they said had flown at least once that they knew of.
And that's not even hearsay. That's something that can be confirmed.
It was that they looked up logs, travel logs. But because you fly in someone
that doesn't mean, but he has been on that plane.
He has been. Clinton had been several times.
Several times. That's the name that
one is definitely confirmed. Like several times, that one he was on there. There were some other people, some other pretty big, powerful people that were sent up. I don't remember their names on the top of my head now. But those are two names I know that I've seen.
And Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew was one of the people that they identified as sleeping with. So that one is past. That one is the Prince Andrew one is pretty bad. I mean, think about it. The Queen's son. Jeez. So there's a lot riding on this. There's a lot of powerful people riding on this. Apparently he knows a lot of he funded a lot of campaigns, Clinton included. He'd known Trump from like back in the days, and apparently the reason why he and Trump fell out was that he tried to hit on a young girl, while he was at Mar-a-Lago, and he got kicked out. That's what they said, and he got kicked out as a result. And they said ever since, him and Trump were just never saw eye to eye. Whether there was something else behind that, I don't know. But that's what they said was the reason why. And I mean other reasons, but that's the reason why Trump. That was the reason they gave. Clinton did put out a statement. He claimed he was only on his private jet 4 times. Because the original story said it was like over 20 times.
Okay.
He said it was only 4
times.
Only
4 times, okay.
And it was strictly professional.
Fundraising stuff.
There was never any women involved. So that's with Clinton. Again, it is fishy.
So this is someone who essentially had knowledge about, very damning knowledge about very powerful people.
Yes.
And somehow, quote unquote, was able to commit suicide.
Yes. While
in solitary confinement under suicide watch.
Yeah, for someone that rich, it doesn't
make
any sense.
Like everything is not adding up.
Nothing adds up. Now we were talking about it in my podcast earlier today. It's a smiling software. Check it out. And someone, I think it was Wally that mentioned it. Was like, well, prisons, they do have this huge distaste for
rich white people.
Well, not even that, for people that
abuse
rapists, and that maybe it could have just been like the prison, like the inmates just worked
jungle justice.
Somehow jungle justice. I don't know. It doesn't really sound plausible to me.
And I don't think they would make it. I don't think they would make it look like suicide.
No, I don't think they will.
They'll make sure of it.
Yeah, and they will make a show of it. One, number two, I even feel like they won't even off him like that. They'll probably want to extort him first.
Or at least whip his ass to let
or something
to let him know they're serious.
Yeah, or something. But yeah, so there's been that. But yeah, it's just weird, man. The whole thing is just weird. I don't know.
So, like, if you like, this is pure speculation. Let's put it out there.
Yeah.
What in your mind? What do you think occurred?
In my mind, I think he probably committed suicide. That's probably the simplest explanation. I mean, I always go with the simplest explanation. It's usually what usually happened. He probably did commit suicide. I do feel like he was enabled.
So
I definitely feel
like he was prodded in that direction.
It just doesn't make any sense that he got off suicide watch a week after he tried to commit suicide. It makes no sense. So I feel like there was some type of enabling that happened. One other thing I wanted to mention is that like apparently he had like some kind of manifesto from back in the days where he tried to justify the idea of grown people being able to have relationships with underage kids. Like this was something that he really believed in.
Wow.
This was something that he was always about. Apparently like this was like his thing. And that you know, there's like a big faction. Well, I don't want to say big faction, but there are groups out there that really they make this like crazy arguments about why pedophilia shouldn't be stigmatized. Like it's a real thing.
No, I
online. It's wild.
I understand.
It's a wild thing.
I believe you, but I'm still disgusted by it. Like
it's crazy.
Yeah. Like,
but they feel like pedophilia should not be stigmatized by society, and that there should be other ways that we should deal with it, and maybe we should try to embrace them more, something along those lines. And it sounded like he was of that same type of thought process, where he was really into stuff like that. Yeah, man, the whole thing is, and then William Barr put out a statement saying, "Look, this is ridiculous," but it's just like this happened like, watch, man, this doesn't look good for you guys either.
Yeah,
like it doesn't look good. Like I don't understand, like. For the prison, for something to have gone wrong. Now, by the way, the warden of the prison has stepped down.
He better.
The guards, they've been investigated. There's a whole investigation going on.
Heads are gonna roll.
But the thing about it is that the fact that it shouldn't have been allowed to happen. However, they did say that the information he already provided, that a lot of it is enough.
Is actionable?
Some people, yes. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that plays out. If I was gonna get into my conspiracy bag, I was thinking on my way. I was like, what if all of them, right, all these politicians, they all just came and they met and they're like, you know what, man, these guys want small business for all of us. And Trump and Clinton, can you imagine
all of them joining heads?
Just as much as they hate themselves, they're like, okay, no, this is an emergency. This is what we actually have to like try to fix this. And they all came together and they were like, you know what, we're just gonna somehow just rush it and just have him marked.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like an episode of Scandal.
It does.
That's what
it's like. It really does. Like, it really does. Someone this rich? What? His lawyers are rejecting the idea that he committed suicide.
I mean, yeah.
They're rejecting. They've completely rejected it. They're like, because they did an autopsy and the autopsy revealed that he died of suicide. So, but they're not trying to have it. They're like, nah, there's more to this. So you already know his estate is probably going to fight this, hopefully. I want them to fight it because I want
you want everything to come out. Yes.
I want whatever conspiracy was behind it to come out. I want it all to come out in the open. But that's the case of Jeffrey Epstein, man. He's supposed to be a billionaire. Even his fortune, it's not really clear. He's supposed to be a hedge fund manager. He's supposed to just have this one fund. I don't want really kind of like that guy that got caught. What's his name? Bernie Madoff. You remember like his fund? No one really knew.
Yeah, no one knew anything about it.
It's similar to this guy. We just know that he's a billionaire. No one knows anything about this fund.
The source of the
money. Or what the source of it. We just know that he just has it and he's powerful and he's rich as fuck and he gets to do whatever the F he wants to do. It's just one of those things where it's just like, and so people are wondering like, I guess was he like the bag man for like a lot of these politicians that were just, they always knew that they had like some kind of understanding with him, like, okay, we're gonna keep you out of jail, just keep doing whatever you're doing for us. There's all sorts of conspiracies out there. Another conspiracy I thought of was that, what if it was this guy that was like the go-to, because there's been talk of child sex trafficking ring in the upper echelons of American society for decades.
Right.
Do you know what this guy's death does for those conspiracy theories right now? They make all those people that said those things.
Everybody is like on high.
People like freaking this guy. What's his name? Alex Jones. That crazy guy. Dude, what was one of the things that he was huge on apparently?
From his
sex,
start?
yes, this sex child trafficking ring that he always talked about. Conspiracy theories like that. This is like a field day for them because all this does is fuel it. And yeah, so that has been going on for a while. That there's a sex child trafficking ring among upper echelons of society, like across the world, and they all know themselves, and they all know that okay, we get away with it because we're the most powerful one. You just get to do whatever.
And he's basically was one of the integral cogs of the whole thing.
And that's where the main conspiracy is like really. That's like the main online conspiracy out there right now. That's where they're at. They're like Jeffrey Epstein is the central cog. He was like the central point, the wholesale, the dealer, basically.
Yeah, okay.
He was one that dealt these chicks to everyone, and they all knew. But we'll find out more. I think.
Do you think we'll really find out? Like,
I hope we
do you think we'll actually?
I don't know. If we don't, then I'm more inclined to believe my original conspiracy theory that I said Clinton, Trump, all of them came together. All the powerful people in the world, and they were like, yo, let's get on a phone conference with you. Look, I know y'all hate each other right now, but yo, we gotta sort this guy out, man. We can't there's too much, because there's just some things that there's some things that you imagine, like you just feel like the world can't even handle the truth sometimes. Like we can't even process it. Like we will just have meltdowns. You know what I'm saying? Like people that who knows, people that we've held in such high esteem. You don't know whose name is going to drop out of that. Like what if someone drops like a Nelson Mandela? You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, I'm not saying that happened, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's certain people that have meant so much to the world that if they get implicated in things like that, it will just turn everything upside down. It will turn the whole people's minds, because at that point it's like if that person was that way, then
you have no hope in anybody else.
I have no hope. And I think for some people it's gonna be just maybe they might just feel like there might just be too much world anarchy after this stuff comes out, because then they're gonna find out that we've been getting away with all this. I know I'm getting my conspiracy bag here, but look, I'm telling you, this thing has legs.
Yes, I think
his death, the fact that he died,
before he was able to go.
What? Like, what are we talking about here? A week after he had attempted, it even happened once, and everyone said, okay, maybe she just happened.
But
he tried it
already
the
tried
first time.
before.
And a week after he dies, someone's got it. There's also other conspiracy theories out there. Look, I engage in these things. I try not to put them out there as truth, but man, you understand, when there are no answers, man, you have to look at all the possibilities. There's also this possibility that's out there that they said he's not dead. The whole thing. Dude, there's all sorts out there. So people said he might not be dead.
So this is all the rules.
This is like a freaking
is this to
episode of 24?
Is this to avoid prosecution
or
to avoid reprisal from the people who's about to snitch on?
Both. That maybe that was the deal that they made from that.
They'll fake his death.
Fake your death. Get you the fuck out of here. You can go back to your island or wherever. No one will know where you are. You just black out, and they will just take you away. Or some people have even suggested that maybe then they won't be able to get away with the autopsy. But I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
It's a lot of funkiness.
It's a lot.
A lot of funkiness.
It's a lot. So that's the case with Jeffrey Epstein right now, and it's crazy. But we're following the story where we got eyes on this, man. And I'm telling you, that's why YouTube, that's where you get your citizen journalists. Like they're on the case. Stuff that CNN won't touch.
Yes, because
because it's not confirmed.
Exactly, it's not.
you see people just
it's not credible, but
yeah,
you know, it's interesting. That's YouTube for you.
That's YouTube, man. There's a lot of interesting things out there on YouTube. But that's the Epstein case, man. We'll see how it goes.
So there was another thing I wanted to touch with you real quick, because I know like when the story first came out, you guys discussed it a bit, and it's about Lil Nas X.
Yes.
So it's like when he first came out,
As
like
gay.
no, not even that.
Oh,
not even that. I'm talking about like came out like when the song came out,
Yeah.
he was facing the barrier from country music,
Yes.
and now he literally has the longest standing #1 song
Can you imagine?
in history.
Can you imagine? Is he still on there?
Yes, 19 weeks now.
He's still on there.
Yes, right now.
I remember when he broke the record.
It was 17 weeks. Yeah, that was the record. Now 19 weeks.
How come?
That is what I'm trying to ask you now. Like,
That's crazy. I didn't even know he was still on there. I thought he was down.
no, 19 weeks. No.
Wow. Okay, so that's a big deal. And just like you said, initially he wasn't allowed in the club. Then he was allowed in because Billy Ray Cyrus came,
Another person who has
embraced
been
him.
held out before.
Yeah, embraced him. And then you see, I think there were also other factors that might have played. Like he came out as gay. Some people claim that maybe that might have given him like an additional 3-4 weeks. But I don't think people are that. I don't think Americans are that.
If anything, I think it's because more of the millions of remixes that he had.
He did.
Now,
He did have a lot of remixes.
So and to that, and like the way the system was trying to exclude him, he also played the system too.
Yep.
Like he played their
He
game.
milked the shit.
Yeah.
Out.
Like he even had one of the guys from BTS.
Yo, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, like
I heard
he
about
had
that.
Dolly Parton, like every.
I didn't.
He wanted Dolly Parton, and the way they announced the remixes is with the horses and stuff.
Yeah.
And she replied with an updated version of the horse thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's basically how you know if someone has jumped on the bird is with, and she replied with like a pink horse or something.
Wow.
So he whatever his marketing A1, because it's like
that was someone that was making beats in his.
Yeah, because he came up as a troll initially, where it's like Photoshop everything, like he would do so kind of
even
like
the song itself.
Yeah,
was
was supposed to be like a troll job. Was like that's what I thought at the beginning. Like, was he responding to a challenge?
Yeah.
And you see people.
But I know when I heard that song the first time, I knew this is it. I was like, nah, this is straight up.
Yeah, because I thought the fact that people were doing challenges to it meant that it was resonating with so many people, and all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But then the country people, they made themselves look very petty.
They did.
And then did you see the sign when it became #1? And they're like, oh, congratulations to Billy Ray Cyrus. And then they had him like in a little font.
I saw that.
I
saw that. That was quite ridiculous.
I'm like,
that was kind of ridiculous.
But I mean,
he's doing his thing, man. Good for him. Good for him. Lil Nas X. He has another song, Panini.
Panini. I mean, that is more sing-songy.
He's more sing-songy.
And I think that's more of what his sound is supposed to be anyway.
Yes.
But you have to get in there.
So has he pigeonholed himself?
But then is he in that respect? Is he like the person that has to come out in cowboy gear for the rest of his life now?
That's another thing. He kind of looks ridiculous in that cowboy outfit. I was like, what is going on? But hey, that's what he likes, it seems. But yeah, I know my niece is like that's one of her favorite artists.
Little kids go crazy.
Wow.
I think it's like they're nuck if you buck. Like they go crazy off of that song, and it's.
This is a huge fan of his.
Alright, so then I wanted to another thing that I had to make sure I got into this with you. So our man Burna is like out running things right now, performing everywhere. Jimmy Kimmel.
We talked about it today.
Fallon, Tonight Show. Trevor Noah.
So you know how he's getting all these gigs, right?
How?
He is Apple's featured artist of the month. And apparently what they do is when you're a featured artist, they take you through this circuit.
So like this car wash of
this circuit, but it's a big look. Like
it is.
You get lucky enough to
get that.
And what they do is because they did it with Megan Thee Stallion too. The previous month, I think this was his month, and the same thing. They take you through the circuit, Breakfast Club. Because it costs them.
Right.
You don't just get on these
Right.
things.
Right. Right.
There's
So now it makes a lot of sense because I'm thinking like, is it his team that's putting in all this work?
No, it just happened to be, and then they put you on billboards.
Right.
They put you on. They give you guest spots to perform.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel, it was while he was explaining this, and he explained this on the podcast today. So basically, I think before it used to be the other guy, James Corden.
Yeah.
Now they switched to Jimmy Kimmel. So now all the artists now go to Jimmy Kimmel.
Uh-huh.
They did. Mr. Easy got it too during his time, but his wasn't as. He didn't get as many spots as his own. This one was really, really like they really put him out there. The album actually debuted on the Billboard charts.
Right.
Yeah. And it debuted. I mean, it didn't make top 100, but it didn't debut in top 100. It was like 104. But it's still a pretty big deal for like an Afrobeat artist.
Yeah.
To come and have an imprint on the Billboard, I think it's a huge deal. Yeah, man. So Burna's doing his thing.
All right. So in terms of like Afro, so even that whole the genre of Afrobeat as itself, I feel like it is incredibly limiting because I don't see how an artist like Adekunle Gold, Burna Boy, Fino, is it? Yeah. I don't see how you can put all of them under the same genre.
Yeah, because and you know he explained it. Did you see his interview on Trevor Noah?
No, I haven't seen it.
He explained it. I thought it was a perfect way of explaining it. He said, "Look, Afrobeat is like a pizza, and that like Afrobeat logo is like the dough, and that, but with the dough, you know." You can have different kinds of pizzas. You can have a cheese pizza. You can have like a pepperoni, whatever. You can have different types of toppings, and that those different types of toppings are the different sounds that you hear. But that the base itself is Afrobeat. So and I think that's what a lot of people confuse. People get confused with. They think it's just one specific sound. There's different types of Afrobeat. There's Afro pop. There's Afro hip hop. You know, like something like Olamide now, like he has a lot of hip hop influences in the sound, but there's still that base of the Afrobeat base where it's like it's hard to explain. It's like it's first of all it started with Fela, and it's this raw thing. It's like a raw where like percussions are being used. It's something. There's something more to it. It's not just the percussions. It's the melodies, and it's like there's a common thing there. It's the drums, those things. These are all like the little elements that make it Afrobeat. Then people then take it to the next level and then they add a different like twist on it, and that's where you get like.
But it just seems like once it comes from an African artist, it's just tagging it as African. Because it could literally just be an African vocalist playing over a piano,
which is yeah, you're right.
And it'll still be called Afrobeat.
But it's not. That's the thing. Because there are Nigerian artists that don't necessarily do Afrobeat.
Thank you.
I see where you're coming from.
Trying to
the Nigerian artists that don't necessarily do Afrobeat.
And they just put everything from Nigeria.
That's why podcasts like mine. That's what we're here to do, to help people distinguish these things and to help people really get into the weeds of like the sounds and the influences and where they came from and understand exactly, you know, what Afrobeat does. Right? It's hard to explain. It's like a groove. It's like again, the very very first instance of Afrobeat would have been Fela, and from there it's like people have just taken that influence. His way of speaking, the chants is like a chant. It's like the melodies, the way they go. They're not like typical American melodies. You know, in America, right? They're like, I don't know if you've seen this video, but Ed Sheeran goes over it. Most songs in America, they go off of this like they're like 4 different like melodies. They're all the same. Like they all sound the same. And if you look up a YouTube video and look up something about melodies, chords. They're like 4 chords, and it's the same for all. Afrobeat is not quite. Afrobeat we're kind of all over the place. Like we're not. It's not.
It's not as rigid.
And that's why when people hear it, they just know it. It's like a sound. It's not as rigid. For most pop songs, it's the same 4 chords, and
even the song structure itself is
the same breakdown. And that's why I'm so excited about Afrobeat, and that's why I'm excited about my podcast, because these are the things that we want to be able to like highlight to show that, look, this isn't what you think it is. This is something different here. This is something special, and the melodies are something that you're not. It's unique to us. And the good thing about Afrobeat is it's even past Nigeria now. It's now in African music.
Right.
In the UK scene now, they're adopting a lot of those Afrobeat sounds and inspirations, the melodies, the kind of percussion.
Even here, even like what you heard
are.
the new Swaley and Drake?
Yeah.
Produced by Techno.
Yeah. Produced by Techno. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, he gave them a very watered down beat.
Yep.
A beat he probably wouldn't even give Davido.
It was kind of basic, but I think
he gave them the sound. It seems credible coming from him.
He did.
So
he did.
I mean,
I think he even had some writing credits.
Yeah,
Drake or something about Bakassi or something.
Yeah.
On there.
I mean, a serious bag was secured there. Absolutely,
you already know. But that's Afrobeat, man. I think Burna Boy couldn't have said it any better. It's like the dope, and everything else is just toppings on top of it, and it's different sounds. But you're right. I do think that there is a risk that we end up pigeonholing ourselves by defining Afrobeat as African artists. And that's what America sometimes does. They look at the simplest way to define it. You're African and you're doing music. Oh, we must be Afrobeat.
Yes,
and that's why podcasts like mine, we're gonna make sure that we rail against stuff like that.
And that's why I when I talk about these artists, like I do it like individually, so I make sure like I highlight what Burna Boy is doing, and even in terms of like the Beyonce album from Lion King, I was like giving the individual artists their props. I didn't want to categorize it as Afrobeat because it's like when you even bring up all those like the 6 or 7 artists that were brought together in that album, it's like I can understand if you're saying, okay, this is Afro pop, because that's what a lot of these artists are, like, because you cannot say
but Afro pop is still a subgenre.
Yes,
Afrobeat,
the very rhythmic, repetitive stuff.
Repetitive. There's certain elements to it.
So that's pop music. But with the Afrobeat layer.
Yes.
So
it's like a fusion.
Yeah. So it's like you can do it that way, because there's no way you can, or like Nonso Amadi or Namdi or whatever. Like, he's a vocalist, but then with different
even Adekunle Gold. A lot of the songs are not Afrobeat. A lot of the songs are just him singing Yoruba on American
just production in Yoruba, or even the dude that sang Ole Cool. Brimo. Are you gonna tell me that's the same genre as Davido?
Brimo is he has the voice of like he has a really really good voice. That carries very very well.
Like, it's very rich.
But a lot of the production is not Afrobeat. A lot of it, and that was what made Brimo so unique. It was like you heard this vocalist singing in this rich Yoruba, like similar to what you hear on like a beautiful ballad, right? But he was singing in Yoruba, and that was really all it was. But that's not necessarily Afrobeat. But then he also has some Afrobeat songs. Like,
right.
Oh, they're cool.
Exactly.
That's an Afrobeat, track.
So that's just one thing I wanted to, like, it's been bugging me. Like, I was like, and
like,
even while I'm talking about, and I catch myself saying,
we have to make that distinction.
Like,
because even we ourselves sometimes we just forget, and but we have to make that distinction, and we have to make people know, because that's what America does. They try to simplify everything, water it down as much as possible,
and then that just
consumable.
becomes the truth right there.
Exactly.
And then you can't start correcting people once they've already accepted it.
Exactly. I'll give an example. I was arguing with somebody the other day about. Are you familiar with UK drill?
Drill?
Yeah, UK drill.
Not too familiar, no.
Okay, so they call it UK drill now. Have you heard this song? Baby, we're gonna go to the party. By Pop Smoke. He's in New York. Baby, we're gonna go to the party. See, that's UK drill. That's drill. That's like, it's a drill beat.
Oh.
But they call it UK drill now, right? And it's frustrating. To the same way, it's frustrating to me because it's really not UK drill. It's a Chicago. Drill beats started from Chicago. It started from like artists like Chief Keef, like back in the days, Lil Durk. Like they kind of like moved that drill sound, right? And what happened was the UK scene, they saw it, they recognized it, they loved it, and they adopted it with their like it's their garage, whatever, and they adopted that. It's like
and it became their thing.
And it became their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you type in UK drill on YouTube, it's like tons of videos. Like it became like a huge thing. It became almost like bigger there.
Because it was their main thing as opposed to just being one of a few here.
Yes. And then so they started calling it UK drill. And then and you have like UK drill producers, like there's a lot of them, and it's the same patterns. It's like a snare pattern.
Mm-hmm.
It's like and you have this guy producing, and you have people calling this pop song UK drill, and they're like, and so who are you pointing out? Like, it's really by a UK producer, and it just frustrates me because I'm just like, damn, Chicago's not gonna get credit for this thing. I mean, but that's how it is, man. People just want to simplify it, to me it was just bizarre that Americans are calling it UK drill, and they don't even know. They don't even know that it originated from
so I
Chicago.
thought you were saying like the UK.
No,
Americans are calling it UK
like
drill.
Americans on YouTube are like, so this is that UK. Wow. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you're not going to give the right people the right, but that's kind of stuff that happens, and it becomes fact. And it just
and going forward, it just
becomes a thing. So
I'm sure Chief Keef will have something to say about this very soon.
I'm sure.
Yeah, Sosa don't play.
Oh no, he don't. He don't. Yeah, but I like that song, man. I like that. Welcome to the Party track. I think you do too. Also, I have a bias for like New York rappers.
Oh,
because I've been waiting for their comeback. I'm waiting for them to take over. I had even though Tekashi wasn't the best rapper, I was kind of rooting for him until all this stuff came out. Like, man, New York can't catch a freaking break.
Yeah, I was not.
New York can't catch a break.
I was not in the Tekashi camp in any.
They took such a big L on that one. Like the whole thing was just messy. It was just messy.
I mean, you're looking at that. What about Bobby Shmurda at first? Like
Bobby Shmurda too. He was like, that was supposed to be like, okay. I'm like, okay, New York is, because New York is the mecca of hip hop. So
he rapped his own confessional. That's what he did. Like that was
just a mess. But you still have some artists out there. You got Young M.A.
But that's the thing. Like
Young M.A. she's not getting.
No, but the thing is, because she's still independent. And that is the the fact that Ooh got on the radio was even a big deal in itself, because otherwise I don't think a lot of people would have even heard.
She's a spitter, man. That's the thing. That's what people don't realize. She's actually good. She's really, really good.
And the thing is, so people who have like seen her out about, she gets like the dude heartthrob treatment. Like in terms of like, okay, like she was down in Miami like late last year or something, and she had chicks flocking to her, like actively like giving her the Chris Brown treatment basically.
Wow.
And so it's like people are saying, oh, she's not blowing up because she's not doing anything for the male gaze. I'm like, no, dude, it's because she's getting attention, even though it's not from men. It's just that she's independent. And the thing is, she also doesn't. I think her independence also like works for her in terms of she doesn't have to water down her image at all.
She's herself. I love her, man. I love her. She's good.
Yeah. Alright, so we're going to take a quick break here and then we'll be right back. Alright, so welcome back to the Well Actually podcast. Again, joined by Corey of the Smiling Sufferer podcast.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so now this part is something new that I'm trying to do for all of our guests on the show whenever we do have guests. So just going to be some rapid fire questions. The first thing that comes to your mind, and try to be as honest as possible.
Okay.
Alright, so you ready?
Yeah.
Alright, so what was the most embarrassing moment you can remember?
Most embarrassing?
Yeah.
You don't really...
that you'll be willing to admit.
Oh God. It was probably remember her normal, I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she.
Oh,
I liked her like a lot.
Oh, okay. And this is back in ISI.
Back in GSS.
Ooh, damn. I didn't mean to cut that deep. So
it's
okay. All right, you know what? We'll just move past this.
I'm still a little bit traumatized. I was in GSS 3 and it was
okay,
painful.
Yeah. In case
and she left me for another guy.
Wait, I didn't know that part.
Well, I mean, we weren't officially together or anything.
Who was the other guy?
So you know how you like someone so much. and your friend, you're like hanging out.
So
with
that
her.
was your truth, basically.
Yeah, that was.
Who was the other guy?
I think it was Bushu. It was me and Bushu that used to fight about at the time.
Wait, I'm sorry. In case anyone is late to the party, so me and Corey went to secondary school together back in the day.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and because they happened to be in the same class.
Oh man.
And I was in C, but I had such a huge crush on her. I think that was probably one of the most embarrassing and the way it happened too was she forgot my ass like. We weren't together or anything, but then it got worse because my friends like clowned me for it. My closest friends.
I promised I did not know this was gonna come up like.
My closest friends clowned me for it. Ali, Togu, Malik, they all know themselves.
So the whole Twism.
They clowned the shit out of me. Tolu, Robert, all of them walk out.
Shout out to Twism. Oh man.
Shit out of me,
okay.
and I just felt like shit. And I remember going home that day and crying.
Oh my.
I was so heartbroken.
Okay, I think I might need to X that question.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're on a deserted island, what album would you want with you? You can only have one.
Whew. Ooh, that's a hard one. One album.
Yes.
Miss Education.
Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm an R&B guy.
I can't think of one artist who has eaten off of one album more than her.
I can't think of it. It was a timeless album, man.
Okay.
Every song,
Alright.
you know.
Alright, so now this one is gonna get a bit wacky. So would you rather piss a golf ball or shit a bowling ball?
That's a painful one. A bowling ball. A whole bowling ball.
I'm sorry, you gotta choose.
Woo. Probably bowling ball.
You'd rather
just
shit
because that's it's not gonna happen. How? Anatomically, it's just not gonna happen.
Hey man, I didn't say it had to obey physics.
And I feel like at least I'll still able to have kids if I shot a bowling ball. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But if I did that with the golf ball, I don't know. It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same.
Okay.
The same.
All right. Who would you call if you needed to hide a body?
If I needed to hide a body.
Mm-hmm.
If I needed to hide a body.
Yes.
I'd probably call Marco.
Wow.
Yeah.
Segun.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
He got it like that?
No, because he's the only one that I would probably trust enough.
Okay. So it's more about trust than ability.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I think he'll probably be the only one that I would be like, okay, it's just going between us kind of thing.
So it's not because he already got the setup or...
No.
Okay.
It's not about that life.
So he doesn't have like a...
I would probably call a family member too, but I'm thinking outside of family member.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of because, yeah. Probably Marco.
So he doesn't have like a chainsaw on the back?
No,
right.
no, thank God.
I mean, I haven't seen him in a while.
No, but then Marco 2, Marco 2 is like a very, very huge, so he would probably be able to help me carry the body.
Oh, so you're just thinking of logistics at this
like,
point.
I had to think it all through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Alright, and the final question, if you could switch lives with any person for a day, who would it be?
Will Smith.
Why?
I don't know. The guy, his life just looks amazing.
It just looks like he's having fun.
I'm just like, his family, vacations, he's, at some point, I think at some point he was even, allowed to, I'm not saying I want this for me, myself, but at some point I think he was allowed to, F around with other women. Remember that time that they said that they were in, an open relationship?
But I think they rubbished those rumors.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. But that's how I picked it. That's how I picked it.
Yeah, you have to clean that up.
But his life
he just seems like he's
amazing, man. And he's jumping off a plane.
Yeah.
He's a movie star.
I'm a huge Will Smith fan.
I know you are. You've always been. You've always been.
That's why I'm like, because even when he did the bungee jumping out of a helicopter, I was watching it on Facebook.
Yeah,
I'm like, I haven't been on Facebook. I was watching the whole thing.
Yeah, his life looks amazing. He just looks amazing. He has has kids. He's
close
to his kids.
you wouldn't want to be a woman for a day? Because for a day. Because someone asked me, like that's how I came up with it, and I told him Rihanna, straight up. Because I don't think there's any person alive right now who is having more fun out of her than Rihanna.
I don't know.
Because I would have said Beyonce, but then she's married to Jay-Z. Like, I don't want that responsibility at all. Yeah. But Rihanna just seems like she's always having the time of her life.
She is.
Always at any time.
I think she's living the best.
And it'll just like what would it be like? Because I already know what it's like to be a man. Like for a day.
What it's like to be a woman.
And to be Rihanna.
For a day.
Yeah, for a day.
Yeah. I probably just see what it's like.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, right? I feel like if you went to a woman's body, right? First of all, you would get all the sexual eyes on you, like right off the bat. So it'll be interesting to see what that's like. Because you know how it is.
It's also with Rihanna, it's also fame too.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like on 1,000.
On 1,000, where it's like. But then I would like to see what it would be like, because yes, I get it that men they have certain privileges, but women have certain privileges to being women too, where it's like that's why women can scam guys very easily. Very easily.
Isn't that just more about the gullibility of guys?
Well, that too, but that's because a lot of times we guys we think with our dicks.
Yeah.
So I think it will be interesting to see how well I can manipulate guys. Like I think it's a good thing I wasn't one woman, because man, I would be scamming these dudes like a mother. Wow. Like enough girls have scammed me now, just like, damn, you did that, huh?
So you're giving them props for scamming.
I'm like, yo, you did that. But of course, it's also because I knew that I wanted a certain something. I was willing to do certain things to get it. And that's, but yeah, it is what it is.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright, and okay, so I said that last. Okay, now this is the last one. Since you fancy yourself a bit of a music critic,
yeah,
better vocals, Mariah or Whitney Houston?
Whitney. I'll tell you what. Whitney is a better vocalist all around. Mariah can hit higher notes, which is nice and all. I don't think anyone can sing at the kind of octaves she sings in as consistently in. But if you're just looking at complete Whitney Houston, her voice can pierce through walls. Like it's when you think of when you think of what she did with that run, she didn't need to have a high. She didn't need to hit a high note. She just when she belted out that tune, you felt it. You felt goosebumps, literally. Like you could just feel it, and that's what Whitney's voice was like. It was heavenly. It was another level. So I think she has a better voice overall. But of course, Mariah can hit higher notes, and it's nice when Mariah does like, but that could get old. that could get. But she's a great. Don't get me wrong, she's a great singer.
It's funny you brought up I Will Always Love You. A lot of people don't know that that's a cover actually from Dolly Parton, and it's
Dolly Parton. And when you hear Dolly Parton's version, you're like, wow. You're like, I understand why no one remembers it for Dolly Parton. Just because she knocked that thing out the park, man. It's crazy. When she hit that note, and then when she goes on that, and then she just keeps going and keeps going, and you're like, wait, what's going on here? And you just feel everything. That's still one of my favorite movies, man. That's still one of my favorite movies ever. The Bodyguard. Remember that?
Yeah. Kevin Costner.
Are you still a movie person?
Bruh,
have you seen any movies lately? I haven't really are you like a big superhero?
Oh yeah, I've seen all that.
Avengers?
Oh yeah. I've done like 2 episodes on them films already. Oh yeah. And then when they recently passed Avatar for highest grossing all over.
Yeah, they did that.
Yeah, they kept it in theaters long enough.
Avatar 2 is coming out.
They didn't say. Man, Avatar came out 10 years ago already.
Yeah.
James Cameron has other things to do. I don't know why. Well, yeah, man, it's been fun having you here, man.
Real, man. It's been
I really appreciate
it. I didn't even expect to even be here this long.
Yeah.
I was enjoying the conversation. And I have to say that I appreciate you having me here. I appreciate you even giving me because I know we don't agree on everything.
Yeah.
But I feel like, again, I think that's why our podcasts are so important, because we need to start having these conversations. We need to start, I feel at least within my African community, there are certain things that we tend to just not touch.
Yeah, we don't discuss the important things. We don't have the difficult discussions.
And there's certain like values that have been passed on, traditions that we don't even bother to even question.
Yeah.
And I feel like these are the ways that we have to start testing them in the real world, in real life situations. Learning about situations, even like this whole like the whole gun debate that we talked about. That debate in itself within the African community, we could be very dismissive sometimes.
Right.
We can be very dismissive. We can be, there's this, and I want to talk about this. There's this thing about where Africans, we do this thing where we come here, we take advantage of certain things that have been reserved for Africans or that are the descendants of slaves here.
Right.
And we take advantage, not understanding that this is actually something that this was put in place for someone else. And I feel like that's something that sometimes we miss out on. And that's why I said, like, I feel like this conversation, we could be going on forever, but I think these are some of the things that we need to start approaching. We all know our parents, a lot of our parents, the way they regard African Americans. Even that word Akata, I stopped using it years ago.
Really?
I stopped using it just because when I learned about the connotation, like the original connotation, about like it's supposed to mean like stray cat. To me, it never sat well with me, and I'm like, if someone regarded me like that, and even the way some of our parent generation use that word, even if right now, if someone uses it, they might not mean it from a bad place, but the way they used it back then, and I don't want to say my parents, I'm not talking about, I'm just saying about that generation. If it was derogatory. And see,
that's why I brought up what Candace Owens, that's her name, that was trying to hold up Nigerians as this beacon of, hey, Black Americans, this is who you should.
Trying to pit one
again, and Nigerians were celebrating that whole thing. Like,
it's not cool.
Beware of any compliment that is at someone else's expense.
It's not cool. It's not cool. So I feel like that's why we need to start having these conversations. I appreciate you giving me the time on your platform. I would love to do this another time. Maybe next time you will come down to Maryland and we'll do this again.
And let people know where to find you.
You can find me everywhere really. We're on Facebook, Smiling Sufferer. We're on Instagram, Smiling_Sufferer. For those that don't know, sufferer is spelled the way it's spelled in the dictionary, sufferer. So it's a play on fellas, as you know, like I said, we're very big on Afrobeat. And it's a play on Fella's song, Suffer. You remember Suffering and Smiling? It's kind of a play on that.
Gotcha.
And it's for me, it's a representation of the African plight. In a lot of ways, we've had our struggles too. You know what it was like living in Nigeria.
Right.
You know what it was like living in certain conditions, and those conditions were so normal for us back then. And you look back and you're like, wait,
did we really go through that?
Did we really go through that? You know what I'm saying? But we still somehow found a way to smile through all that, and I felt like that's what that song really talks about. Nigerians suffering and smiling every day, then they wake inside bus. Like, he was talking about the struggles we go through, and we still somehow find a way to smile. Now, he wasn't necessarily doing it in a complimentary way, but I kind of embrace that message to understand that despite all the shitty stuff, the shittiness that goes on back home, back in the motherland, we still find a way to just find joy out of the littlest things. They say, Nigerians are some of the happiest people in the world. Like,
which is mind-boggling.
It's mind-boggling. We find ways to laugh at the absurd. And in those conditions, and it's kind of sad too, because we really should be angry.
Oh yeah.
We really should be angry. But I feel like we found a way to kind of deal with our trauma. And it's, we will always still complain. We're complainers. We like to complain, and we'll complain, but then we'll also still find a way to smile through the suffering. And I think that's what I try to do with Smiling and Suffering, bringing that to the forefront and trying to talk about issues that affect the world, but from our perspective. And so yeah, Smiling Sufferer. We're out on Facebook also. Please follow us. We're on YouTube. Search for us, Smiling Sufferer. We're on Twitter at Smiling Pod. Smiling Sufferer. SmilingSufferer.
And what platforms is the podcast available on?
You can find us on Spotify. We're on Apple iTunes. That's all we're on for now. You'll find some of our older episodes on YouTube. I think we have like the first 30 episodes on YouTube, but we haven't really put that many episodes on recent episodes on YouTube. But we have clips on there, so please share our clips if you can. Follow us. It's me, my co-host G, and Yeti. G is Wale. And we come and we talk about it. We talk about the current events. We talk about how it affects us from our perspective, from our unique perspectives, and we again, a very big part of our podcast is Afrobeat music.
Right.
We're very excited about it. It's something, and that was one of the drivers why I put this together. We knew that Afrobeat was about to make a splash in the US, and we were excited, and we wanted to kind of document this Afrobeat invasion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've been hearing it here and there in songs and pop culture, and I feel like, you know, Afrobeat is an opportunity for a lot of people back home to get out of all sorts of situations.
Right.
And we have artists like Burna Boy now, like headlining concerts at the Fillmore in Maryland. That's a big deal.
Right.
And, you know, there are a lot of Afrobeat artists that can follow that same trajectory. And if this is something that American music can embrace in their culture, it could do so much good for us. So, yeah, we're just excited to talk about these things, and you know, that's about it, man. Yeah, my social media also, even though I don't usually do this, but I need to start doing this. My social media is at Courageous. I'm on Instagram at KOREGEOUS. And it's the same thing on Twitter.
It's the same thing on Twitter.
Yeah, you can find me same thing at Courageous. I know it's kind of corny, but
So what happened with the Rap Cat moniker?
the Rap Cat.
What happened with that? You thought I was gonna bring that up?
Yo,
you thought I was gonna bring that up?
Yo, look, for those that don't know, I used to want to be a rapper, man, and I went with the name Rap Cat. I read the name
How many
Rap
years
Cat.
ago?
And you know, it's funny. I don't even find that as embarrassing as the ish that happened in GSS3 that took traumatized.
But you had that name longer than that.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Exactly. I'm not even going to say how many years because according to let anybody else know, I'm still in my early 20s.
Yeah.
So we don't need to. We don't need to discuss any of that.
Mid-20s. You know how we do.
Yeah. So we're not going to go into detail, but yeah.
You know how we do.
Yeah. So I really appreciate you coming through, man.
Thanks, bro. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I was, I had gone out last night. No, I was like, I had poker night.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite, man. All y'all Maryland dudes.
You play poker?
Bruh, honestly, I do not.
Okay.
I like watching other people lose their money.
Dude. You know when you lose, I mean, it's not like we put a lot of money, but
Yeah.
like $60 or something.
Bruh, I would lose everything on the first hand because I don't even know anything past raise, re-raise. That's it. That's it. I'll always be going for a four of a kind at the beginning.
Oh, really?
That's it. And,
Nah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but yeah, it was so I drank a little bit too much, and I was a little bit hungover today, and I won't lie, it was a struggle even making it to my own podcast. I was like, I don't know, I was almost dozing off driving here, but I was like, I have to, man. This has been a long time coming, so I'm glad that you brought me here.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming through, and
Sir.
like you said, man, don't worry. Well, I'll come back down there.
Yeah,
I might have some business down there that I need to attend to, so it'll make it very convenient. All right, and on this note, I want to thank you all for listening, and we'll do this again next week.
Peace.